All right, welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. All right, tonight. Oh, there we go. Nolan Network. Thank you for the raid. I was, I was actually watching your stream while I was setting up. I did. I had never seen that Pete Rose wrestling footage before. That was amazing. Welcome in Nolan. Welcome in Raiders. How did Ted Williams do tonight? We are continuing our experiments tonight. We're testing out the player creation engine. It is different than OOTP25. Now, what remains to be seen is whether the performance of the players it's generating is different, but the distribution of the ratings is definitely different. You got through one game, he went 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Wow. 600 on base percentage. That's pretty good. So, yeah, we're getting ready to play Creator Roster in OOTP26. I am going to do the first test run just to give people a sense of what the players are looking like and how they sim. But before that, I kind of wanted to get a sense of, some of the things that might be going on in the player creation engine. Um, all these are up on the VOD, so if you're interested in either player creation or think you might want to do a channel redemption to play one of the versions of Creator Roster. 2 nights ago, we did pitchers, starting pitchers, relievers, and closers. We didn't see much rating difference between relievers and closers, but we did see some other differences like lefty righty mix. Um, we didn't look at stamina. Maybe that's something we could go back and look at. Um, but the ratings for the starting pitchers declined as you go down by levels very differently than the relievers and closers. But one thing in general, and we've seen this every night so far, the very lowest end of the ratings appears to be gone. That's right. Nolan was one of the. So in OTV25, EVC and NYC2 for the longest time had the record in Creator Roster with 141 wins. And he set that bar pretty high pretty early. But the very next time we played was the Nolan Network, who won 140 games. And I thought, oh, this must be the new normal. But then one other person got close with 140, and then all cycle, people were trying to beat that record and couldn't do it. Nolan had gotten the closest the very next time until the last day of the cycle when Smiley Face Jane finally beat that record. Yeah, Nolan, I think you had like a 30 some game winning streak, right? To take it over towards the end where you came so close. I think you did that on the strength of like a 30 some game winning streak. Hi, Rev Jr., and welcome in. Good seeing you. So, yeah, 2 nights ago we did pitchers. Last night we did outfielders. And each night we've learned some pretty important things that I think will help people who play any of our player creation games or are creating players either for fun or as part of an online league. So some of these insights might help you if you're, and I don't know how each league does it, but like if you're having players created for you in PBE Sim or EMLB or the beta version of the Red Rock League, some of these insights might help you make your decisions there too. And then so tonight we're going to do middle infielders. Seems like a pretty small topic, but each one of these actually has been um, they take some time to do, but they've also been pretty revealing each time we do one. So, if you asked me 3 nights ago before we started these whether just middle infielders could sustain a stream, I would have said no way. But now that we've been doing these, I'm like, yes, absolutely. There's like a ton of stuff we can dig into here. So, in fact, I'm going to copy the form from last night for tonight's 10-pack giveaway. In case you're new to my stream, every time we do a simulation or an experiment, we give away packs based on guessing the outcome of the sim. So let me make a copy of last night's, and then we'll edit it live in the stream. It'll help you get a little bit of a head start on what you might want to guess. And the chat usually helps me quite a bit in figuring out some of my mistakes in the form. Alright, so this will be the middle infield set of tests. This is session number 3 of these creator roster experiments. Let me update the title and then I'll put it up in the stream. And you do not have to be present to win. So if you want to go ahead and hang out for, however long it takes us to finalize the pack giveaway form, I'll put it in the chat. You can fill it out and take off. If you do win, you'll still get your packs. And if you haven't used the player creation engine in the base game, I would encourage you to try it out. It's a lot of fun. So one of the ways I've played this game a lot is every time I get a new version of OOTP, yes, that shot by Lindor, another one. But I'd always put myself and my friends, either friends I played Little League with, or junior high school or high school baseball with, or college and after college intramural softball. Right, I would make kind of superhero baseball player versions of ourselves. So like whenever we did well, I just boosted a bunch. And some of the times I would use the editor to create those players. Some of the times I would import a major league player whose career I wanted to model someone after and then make adjustments in editor. And other times I use the player creation engine to just make a bunch of, if I wanted my buddy to be a starting pitcher, I'd make 20 starting pitchers and look for the one that had the profile I wanted, for whoever I was thinking of. But so understanding how this engine works is helpful for that kind of stuff too. Okay, so in tonight's stream will be, I think this part stays the same. We'll be generating fictional players in batches of 8,000. Enough for analysis was small enough for a sample to export via CSV. So Smiley Face Jane helped us understand that there's a cutoff above which you can't export via CSV. And it was 8,000 and something, and I couldn't remember the rest of the number, so I just started running samples of 8,000, and that definitely works. All right, and then we're going to export those to Google Sheets, and then use pivot tables to answer these questions. And tonight we'll be focusing on middle infielders. We'll abbreviate that MIF. There's no L in there, so this is G-rated. For all of our questions, the closest answer wins. We are not using Price is Right rules. You can be over on a question and still get it correct. And the form is basically going to have 2 sections. The first is a bunch of multiple choice or yes or no questions. And that will be survivor style. You have to get past each question to advance to the next one. But at some point, and I'll put it in the form where it is, it's usually when we transition to the numerical questions. Whatever ties remain, if first place has been determined, then the tie for second place. But if nothing's been determined, then even breaking the tie for first place. will be decided by who gets the most closest answers in the numerical section. It sounds complicated, but once we start doing it, you'll figure it out. I mean, it shouldn't change the way you answer. Still, give your best guess. But the point is, you won't get knocked out just by getting one numerical answer wrong. We're going to look at all the numerical answers, and whoever had the most, closest answers is gonna win. Now, we're not doing a simulation, but I do give you the experimental details of the setup just in case that impacts the player creation engine. As far as we know, it does not, but I try to give as much information as possible in these for the pack giveaways, just in case. All right, so and also your OTP login ID, it is case sensitive. Please make sure it's correct to make it easier for the folks at OTP Developments to get your packs if you are fortunate enough to win. Okay, so these are the questions from the outfield. So some of these I think we can just change over to shortstop or second base. Hey, I made it to round 3 of the Monday Night History lesson. This is a best of 9 tournament. And I think it's a 256 team tournament. And we have gone 9 games both rounds. So we've played 18 games in a row without any rest. Let's see who our opponent is. We are going to be playing the Colorado Shockers in round 3. And let's see if they've had any days off. Oh my goodness. They swept. So they've had 4 days off. And we have been playing 18 games in a row. How tired are we? The bullpen's not too bad. They might be rusty. Where's the rust factor, Tampa? Our batters are not too, and I have a pretty high threshold here for fatigue. I think I have it set at 95 or 96%. So we only have one player below that, despite having played 18 games in a row. We do have one snowflake. Gene Tennis is in a slump. But other than that, I'm surprised that the lineup is so fresh. Got a couple tired folks in the bullpen, but the rest of the pen looks pretty good. We are starting at the bottom of the rotation, though. The back end of the rotation. That's maybe the toughest part, is they've had a chance to reset their rotation. They'll be starting their ace, I'm sure, and we're starting our 4th starter. Let's see who they're pitching against us. Yep, Sam McDowell, their number 1 guy. Yeah, they kind of do what we do. They went they went all in on PBABIP. All right, this will be interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. Okay, so okay, I think this is still a good question. Which of the legend level middle infield positions will have the most players with a contact rating of 80 or greater? So this is maximum or off-scale contact. All right, and there's only 2 choices, shortstop and second base. And then let's also ask for legend level who will have the low end. Well, actually, first let's copy this and let's do power. And then let's go back here and say who's going to have the lowest. You can have the highest, the most high, and also the most low. The purple blend color, are you talking about on the scale? Are you talking about on the rating scale when it goes over 120? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wondered if they started that um, too low, but it does seem to be holding up so far. Yeah, it's been a pretty nice quality of life addition. So let's also ask the low end. Who's going to have the low end? How about we'll call it. I mean, it's their legend level, so unless it's a power I don't think there'll be too many of these. So we'll say 45 or lower. All right, and then power 80 or greater. And then let's ask power 45 or lower. So basically, do you think one position is going to have more power than the other? And do you think one position will have more have lower power than the other? It could be the same for both. It might be one or the other. It depends on how you feel about this question. Okay, so contact high, contact low, power high, power low.
Why do you keep following me around?
21 Pizarro, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Okay, and then oh yeah, which legend level middle infield position? Oh, you know what? First, let's ask this. What will be the highest shortstop defensive rating out of 8,000 legend level shortstops? Okay. Will it be 100 plus? We did see one of those. 95, 90, 85, 80. We'll call this 80 or below. So will anyone basically will anyone be above scale, and if so, how high? And then let's ask the same question for shortstops. Okay, and then which legend level middle infield position will have more defense ratings of 70 or higher at their primary position? Yeah, this is out of 8,000. What did I ask? What order did I ask you last time? Shortstop or second base? I asked it out of order. If you go around the horn, that's out of order. Okay, and then Which legend level middle infield position will have the most players with a 5-star rating? Shortstop, second base. Okay, then we'll delete this one. This will be the last of the Survivor questions. So from this point forward, it'll be whoever gets the most closest answers. I asked this before, so I think we'll skip it. What percentage of legend level... Did I ask this before? Yeah, I asked which one would have more. Oh, this will be interesting. What will be the lowest shortstop defensive rating for legend level shortstops? Actually, I wonder if I should make this a... Let's move these. Let's make these short answers, and we'll make them. We'll put them in the numerical tiebreaker section. I kind of like that better. All right, so highest, make that short answer. Highest shortstop defensive rating. Highest second base defensive rating out of the second baseman. What will be the lowest for the legend level? $20 to $80, but above scale is possible. In case anyone doesn't know, the scouting rating system is 20 to 80. But we've chosen the setting in OTP where scouts can assign above scale ratings to players, which is good. Otherwise, you have a bunch of people just stuck at 80 and you have no way to really differentiate between them. We did lose game 1 after 18 games in a row facing a team with 4 days rest. We lost 9 to 4. We gave up 7 in the 5th. Let's see if the starter gave that up or if that's a bullpen inning. Ooh, look at that win probability graph. That's what happens when you give up 7 runs. Yeah, they were all charged to the starter. And he was rested, so it's not... can't blame it on fatigue. Alright. We'll hope to do better in game 2. Okay, so we're going to ask, what's the highest rating you think we'll see for shortstops? What's the highest defensive rating you think we'll see for second baseman? And presumably your answers will be different if you think one position is going to have higher or lower ratings than the other. And then what's the lowest we'll see for the legend level? And then what percentage of legend level shortstops will have a defensive rating for second base? And then what percentage of legend level second baseman will have a defense rating for shortstop? Now this is, I think, where it'll get interesting. What percentage of legend level shortstops will have a defensive rating for third base? And then what percentage of legend level second baseman will have a defense rating for third base? Oh, did I just delete one? I did. I deleted one of our new questions by mistake. And then let's see. What percentage of scrub level shortstops will have a star rating of 2.0 or lower? And then what percentage of scrub level second baseman will have a star rating of 2.0 or lower? Okay, I think that's a pretty decent set of questions. Game 2 is simming, so let me put that up while I publish this form. Well, the download's in. Can we bounce back and win game 2? Did we lose because we rested players and now they're back in the lineup? Nope, we lost 2 in a row. Gave up another huge inning, 8 runs in the 6th this time. I mean, it seems like a silly thing to say, but without those huge innings, we would have won both games. But that's also just saying, if we hadn't given up 8 runs, 8 of those runs, we would have won that game. But yeah, those huge innings just killed us. Alright, let's put the link in the chat. Link to form for tonight's 10-pack giveaway. Good luck, everybody. In the meantime, I'm gonna get my folder ready to take in the new data sets. Make sure my Google Drive is ready. So to import data into a Google Sheet, it has to be in your Google Drive. So I'm going to create a new folder so we don't get it mixed up with all the data we got from last night's create a roster middle infielder test data. Okay, so all that's going to go in here. And then I'm going to make a copy of last, I guess, no, I could just make a new spreadsheet. And we'll call this sheet episode 323, create a roster prep middle infield. Okay. So here's what that looks like. Well, here's what some of last night's data looks like. This is what we ended up generating. Pivot tables that look like this. And then, I could convert this to percentages, but I wanted to be able to keep things so that we can toggle back and forth between screens. So it's inefficient, but I generated multiple pivots off of the same data. Normally you would just change the data set you change the metric you're pivoting around and not redo it over and over. But for the purposes of the stream and also to just have it handy, I just generate multiple pivots off of the same data. But we're going to switch to a different sheet tonight. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to resize the window so you can see the tabs at the bottom. There we go. Okay, so first we're going to set up to take in the data. And now that I've done this a few times, I kind of know what that's going to look like. Middle infield legend. Middle infield star. Middle infield good. Middle infield average. These are just the levels that you can choose from in the player creation engine. Middle infield bench. And middle infield scrub. So last night when we did this, the tiebreaker came down to the very last question, so that was pretty cool. And we'll just call this middle infield data. Oh wait, you know what? I'm sorry, I did this wrong. This should be, we're gonna start with second baseman. I should have done second baseman. But the one we're going to use to capture all the data for the pivot is going to be middle infield data. Because what we're going to do is, I was a little worried about how it would work out, but we did prove last night that we could bring all the data into the same sheet and then just use filters for the pivot tables to just say, okay, do that same pivot but for second base only or shortstops only. Alright, so I think we're ready to start generating our data. So we're going to have to leave this tournament, which we're down 2-0 in anyway. And here it is, the create a roster generation test. We'll just go to that. So all player creation happens from the free agency screen. So you go to your manager, GM and manager actions, sign a free agent. And if you're in commissioner mode like we are, you can go to this actions pull down and create fictional players. For some of our historic games that we play on stream, we import historical players. That's also here. But tonight we'll be creating players. Oh, wait. Before that, let me make sure we don't have any players in here. I did all players just to make sure. Oh, yeah. We do have a bunch of right fielders from last night. So let's delete them. Now this view has outfield positions. We're going to want to change that. So let's customize defense fielding rate. Yes, fielding ratings. We have left, center, right. We want second, third, and short. You know, in case you want to look at it later, let's also put first. I'm kind of curious to see how many of these guys can play first. Normally we look at third base, first base, but it would be helpful if we knew how many second basemen and shortstops could play first as well. It's not a question in the forum, but I'm kind of interested to find out. Okay, so now those are there. And what I'll do is we'll save this as an infield view. Okay. So yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and create our fictional players. We're going to do second baseman first. Average age. Oh, wait. I can't do this. You're going to see some of the answers. I did this last time, too. All right, let's do this. All right, let's go back to that tournament. I'm going to watch that, and while I'm mostly going to run... Well, it might be too early to run an ad roll. I want to give you all time to fill out your forms. Let's see. We've got ads coming in 24 minutes. So I don't know if it'll let me run ads right now. I could just put the BRB up. I'm just kind of stalling right now to give you time to fill out your forms. Normally you have a lot of setting up to do, so there's no shortage of time to fill out your forms, but... Oh, you know, I don't think I pinned it in the chat, did I? Let me pin that to the chat as well. And again, you don't have to be present to win. If you do have to take off, I'd suggest you fill out a form anyway, turn it in, and who knows, maybe you'll get lucky. And you won't know you won until the packs show up, but you might win. Hey, look at that. We won a game. We bounced back and won 5-1. It's not just that they're well rested. They seem to be a pretty good team. They went 12-3 or 12-2 before facing us. So let's take a look. And I don't think they played Gym Unknowns. Yeah, these are legit wins too. So 5-2 and then 5-0. So they've been dominating. All right, so I'm just gonna keep an eye on this while. Let's see. How's my water? I've got water. I could probably use a restroom break though. And so yeah, let's let me run a few minutes of ads. And when I get back, we'll see how we are in the pack giveaway forums. If you need a little more time, then you know, maybe we'll wait for the next sim to come in on this tournament. The lowest second base question is still saying center field. Okay, hold on a sec. Let me take a look. The lowest second base. Oh. You're right, it does say it, doesn't it? They both say center field. I didn't change either one. Okay, hold on. I'm going to change that right now. If anyone who already turned theirs in actually thought it was going to be center field, you can resubmit. I did change it. Now, I'm kind of curious. Do I have to repost a new link? Or for those of you who are already in the forum, did that question change for you? Or do you have to, like, refresh it? Fox Hill submitted and didn't notice. It's the 4th question after we switch out of the survivor mode. Okay, I shouldn't have to repost the link? The link should still work. Okay. Hopefully it does. If anyone, like I said, uh, there are 2 of you who have submitted. If any of the first 2 who submitted resubmit, I will ignore your first submission and only look at your second. But hopefully you were following along and saw that it was shortstop, second base, and so kind of like Fox Hill didn't notice it because you're just following the pattern. Hopefully it worked out that way for you. But if not, feel free to resubmit if you're one of the first 2 who are in. You know who you are. You've submitted by now. Then you are one of the first 2 in. I will ignore your first answer. Normally, if you submit more than one, I would have to disqualify you. But right now, I'm saying because it was my mistake, you can submit a second. Was that supposed to be the scrub level in that question too? Oh, let me check. Oh no, you're right. It's supposed to be legend level. Okay, everybody, just if you've already submitted, redo it. It's supposed to be lowest second base rating at legend level. Okay, that would definitely throw someone off. Yes, thank you, Clay Dog, for catching that. Yeah, it's no wonder Rev Jr. gives such terrible answers because the questions themselves are so terrible. Okay, so I've had to change that question now completely. It said center field before, I changed it to second base. But it also said scrub level, so it's supposed to say legend level. Okay, thank you everybody for helping me out there. Appreciate that. Apologies for the first 2 of you to submit. Definitely feel free to resubmit if you want to. You 2 get a free pass. Okay, let me run a 3-minute ad roll while I go BRB in shame at my mistakes. And then when I get back, we will get ready to close the forum. Your favorite part was me trying to word percentages instead of just which would have more. Well, because if it's a yes or no, it would end up in the survivor style section. I wanted numerical questions so they could go in the in whatever we're calling the not survivor style section. But yeah, many of those questions could be formatted either way, to go in the upfront section or to go in the back end section for sure. All right, good luck everybody. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I couldn't find my headphones for a second there. I'm watching on a slight delay some Stanley Cup playoffs. Slight DVR buffer that lets me skip commercials. I think I have 3 favorite sports seasons. One is right around now, when Major League Baseball has already started and we have NBA and NHL playoffs going on. And we lost game 4 of this tournament. We got crushed 11-1. It's not a bullpen fatigue issue. The bullpen seems pretty rested. Oof. Nice comes in, throws 22 pitches to get 2 outs, and gives up 5 earned runs. I did worry about the HRA on this guy when I grabbed him. Yes, Mets legend. Did he give up bombs? Is that how they were scored? Yeah, he gave up 2 bombs in 22 pitches. Yeah, that HRA, it'll come get you sometimes. Anyway, I'm stalling in case people need more time. If you're done though, if no one needs more time, let me rephrase that. Let me know in chat if you need more time. I will stall for another minute or 2 just in case. But favorite sports seasons right around now. Baseball's going on. Stanley Cup and NBA playoffs are happening. March Madness. Doesn't matter what else is going on. March Madness is awesome. And then in the fall, when MLB playoffs are going on and NFL has started. Those are probably my 3 also, this period right now, also coming up is the NFL draft. So we've got baseballs going on. We've got NHL and NBA playoffs, which are awesome. And we've got the NFL draft. This whole period right around now. Oh, Reb Jr. got to go to March Madness at Climate Pledge Arena. That's awesome. I've been there a couple of times for Kraken games since they've reconfigured it for NHL. I've got a buddy who's got Kraken season tickets, and he knows I'm a Devils fan. So anytime the Devils are in town, I'll get a call or a text saying, "Hey, do you want to drive up to Seattle?" Oh, Claydog, I left out college football. You're right. So that fall period where it's MLB playoffs, NFL, and college football. Yes. That's a great time. And then of course, anytime World Cup soccer or Olympics are on, I just get obsessed. Like I start watching and relearning the rules for like rowing and luge and you know what's the one that's ski jumping and cross country like that. I'll watch that. Oh, you got tickets for the World Cup? That's awesome. That's awesome. I have a bunch of friends who still live in LA, so I might try to take the family down for the Olympics in LA, but I don't know how crazy it's going to be traffic and stuff wise. You don't have the patience to relearn all the sports reviews? No, I get so into it, and then I'll like relearn all the little minutia, and then I'll forget it again for the next 4 years. But oh, like I'm already looking forward to the next Summer Olympics where they do that the cycling races in the velodrome where their finish lines are like on opposite sides of the circuit, and so they do the split screen and you see them going past their finish lines. It's so awesome. I don't even know what they're called anymore, but like if you ask me during the Olympics, I'll know all the terminology and stuff. But yeah, so Olympics, winter and summer both. Okay, I think that's enough time. I've seen some responses trickle in, so I want to go ahead and close the form here. Oh wow, I'm on a DVR delay, but I just saw the end of an overtime hockey game. Reb Jr. says last Summer Olympics was weird. There was some random people discussing it, and some girl from your high school qualified in javelin. Wow. And they said the other qualifier was from their town. That's amazing. Yeah, it's the Colorado Dallas game, Reb Jr. I just That's the other thing, the sudden death overtime, which you don't get in NBA or anything else, is pretty awesome. I mean, the closest you have to that is, I guess, a walk off in MLB. The Kings Oilers game was also really good. I think Lap's an Oilers fan, right? Okay, so I'm going to close the form. I'm not hearing any objections, so let's close this form. And let's take a look at the. Let's look at the guesses. All right. Which of the middle field positions will have the most players with contact of 80 or greater? It's an even split between shortstop and second base. That's interesting. Wow. Okay, but then who will have the lower contact ratings? Shortstop will have the lower contact ratings. Okay. Which will have the more power? Okay, I'm a little surprised at this, but maybe I shouldn't be. You all think that the second baseman will have more power, more high power, and then who will have more low power? You think the short? I mean, I guess if you go back to the stereotypical like slap hitting shortstop, um, but I also thought that had evolved now to like you have more just better overall players at shortstop, and so I actually thought second base might underperform in offense. So that's interesting that y'all are looking for the shortstop to underperform. Okay, defensive ratings. Who's going to have a high rating, 70 or above? The shortstops. I think that makes sense, especially given what we saw with center field. Even though it's a higher bar to have that higher rating at shortstop, we did see more of those higher ratings in center field. Yeah, Late to Hate says exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, that we saw this in center field, even though it's harder to get those high ratings in center field. We saw more of those high ratings in center field. And then, which of the legend level middle field positions will have the most players with a 5-star rating? You did all you the majority of you went with shortstops, which kind of mirrors what we saw with center fielders last night too. All right, so let's go ahead and start simming these players. Let's start generating these players. Do you think the sim will come in the next like 15 seconds? Should we see if I go down 4-1? Doesn't seem like it's about to come in. Oh, look at that. It did come in. Sorry, I got to peek. I got to see what happened. Oh, we did win 3-2. Tightening it up. Imagine trying to use logic answering a form. Alright, let's go back in here. Let's create our first batch of second basemen. Alright. Manager, GM and manager actions, sign a free agent. We did clear this out, right? All players. Yeah, everyone's out. We did add all the infields. So when you go here to report and then write report to CSV, it will report every field you have here. So as long as we have the fields we want listed here, we'll get what we're looking for. And we've added these infield spots so we can see what the cross position fielding looks like. All right, so let's create players. We're going to go, second base. Legend level 8,000. Lots of 5 stars, quite a bit of power. You can see the position, some of the cross position availability. You know, I think there used to be a belief that if you had a higher rating, the more likely you were to have multiple positions, but this 60 has none. This 75 just has third base. So, no guarantees, I guess. All right, let's go ahead and export this. Okay, now we'll do same thing. Second base, we'll go down to star level. You can see the star level's already starting to drop. Okay, we'll delete these. Second base, average age, good level. Okay, we'll export that. Now what I'm doing in the folder where these are going, it's an import underscore export folder within saved games. I'm just adding to the beginning of each file name second base for this one good and then 8,000. So because you can see in the pop-up window the file name means nothing to me, so I'm just adding some information to help me find these files later. Okay, that was good. Now we go down to average. Okay, I just saw the highlights of the Oilers game. All right, these are average. So you can see this file name, right? MLB transactions, free agents, all free agent player, gen test if. Gives me no information about what level or anything. Of course it wouldn't, like it doesn't know. So, but that's why I'm renaming them in the import export folder. Okay, now we go to bench level. Average age, bench level players. Okay, let's export this. All right, one more set of second basemen to make. Oh, Late to Hate versus Foxhill Dim in Iron Cap. I am also in Iron Cap. I don't know if I'm still in Iron Cap, but I was in Iron Cap. All right, let's make these scrub level second basemen. Right now, we used to have half stars and 1 stars. We haven't been seeing that. Oh, we did see a 1 star here. I feel like in the outfielders, even the 1 stars we're not seeing, but we do have at least 1 in here. I was knocked out by Minerva. Oh, good for Minerva. All right, so we're out, but Foxhill and Late Tate are facing each other. Is this in round 2? All right, and I'm going to drag these from my import export folder in the game, in the save games folder, to the Google Drive we're going to use tonight. Round 3 right now. Okay, good luck, everybody. Round 4, pretty good run for whoever of you advances. All right, let's clear these out and all right, now let's put up the spreadsheet. Let me resize this so you're seeing what I'm seeing. There you go. Okay. All right, so we'll go to legend level. We'll import this first. File, import, create a roster, middle infield data, second base, legend. All right, now we want to grab. Oh, it does have position here. All right, we're just going to grab from position over and then down. You know, next time I'm not going to import the scouting accuracy. Let's take that off next time. But we've already got it, so. So we're going to copy this. We'll go over to our data sheet. Now I'm going to leave 2 columns here, and I'll explain why. But wait a second. We did 3 columns on the left before. Why did I do that? Oh, I don't need this position, so we just need level. Yeah, so we're okay. Okay. All right, so we're going to leave 2 columns of space. Level. And then overall rating truncated. Because OOTP is reporting it with the word stars afterwards, and we just want the number. So we just want the left 3 characters here. And we're going to number the level so that the pivot table keeps them in order. The other thing we're going to do is we want the multiple position information. Oh, it's not letting me. I want to add a column to the right. Okay. So let's freeze the top row. Okay. First base eligible, second base eligible, third base eligible, and shortstop eligible. Now let me just copy the formula we used last night. I think the reference cell might be wrong, but that's easier to fix. Okay, so it's looking at AA2. We wanted to look at Y2. Then we'll drag this over. I don't think any of these short second basemen have first base eligibility. That's kind of interesting. Oh no, there is at least one. Oh, look at this. One dude can play all 4. Walker JH is asking, is it worth it to complete the live series missions on Perfect Team, or should I just wait till later until the prices are lower? So you're gonna also have diminishing returns on your mission cards though. So yeah, you might save some perfect points by waiting till later, but those mission cards are going to get weaker and weaker relative to the card pool because there are always going to be new cards coming out every week. So you have to keep that in mind too. So the mission cards will not be worth as much the longer you wait. Both in terms of like resale, but also in terms of how they play. So you have to keep that in mind too. The other thing is, I don't know that live card prices are going to come down that much until after PT Live is over. I mean, they'll come down a bit, especially for like the new cards, and I think the crazy gold, like Braves prices will probably come down as people finish missions. But overall, I don't know that the live cards are gonna come down a ton. So, yeah, the prices might come down a little bit on the live cards, but at the same time, those mission cards are becoming less important. Okay, so we're going to just add more rows, and we're going to paste right. We're going to paste right here. The next batch. Okay, so now we have to import our star level second baseman data. Oh, Foxo, you can already buy them for about 10% above the minimum. Yeah, it's not going to get much cheaper than that then. All right, so second baseman star level. There we go. Now we don't need the header rows anymore, so we're just going to go down here. Okay, we'll paste this in here. Okay, these are 2 star. And we don't need to do the position stuff till the very end. This one we have to do because we have to type in the level. So let's not even bother doing that till the very end. All right, good level. Let's import these players in. Okay, 3 good. All right, so then we're ready to bring in the average level players. or average. Okay, let's bring in the bench level players. Okay, 5 bench. And the scrubs. Okay, we'll paste that in. Six scrub. Okay, now let's go all the way over here and copy these down. Just kind of curious, do we see any? Oh yeah, several first base eligibilities. Nice. I thought there might not be any. All right, so now let's do our pivot here for second base. We'll just do this one, then we'll bring in the shortstop data. Then we'll start pivoting with the filter on for position. All right, let's see. We're gonna go. The columns were the level, I believe. And then we'll do the overall rating first. Now let's just see what this looks like. This is, I think, even more heavily 5-star than maybe even the center fielders were last night. But definitely more 5-star heavy than the starting pitchers were. Starting pitchers were, I think, around 70-some% 5 stars. These are 90+%, almost 100% 5 stars at the legend level. All right, just a quick check in to make sure the data is working, and it does look good. So let's start setting up for the shortstop data. Shortstop legend. Shortstop star. Shortstop, good. Shortstop, average. Shortstop, bench. I think we just call this AVG for average. And then shortstop, scrub. Okay. So let's start generating the shortstops now. Hold on, let me take out one thing real quick here. All right. So let's do shortstops. Average age, legend level. 8,000 of these. Okay. Let's write that report. Let me go rename that report. Okay, well, let's delete these. Shortstop, star level. 8,000 of these. Is there an update on the Iron Cap, by the way? How is the Fox Hill late to hate matchup going? Shortstop, star, 8,000. Create fictional players against shortstops. Good level. All right, shortstop. Good. Okay, let's delete these. All right, next up is average level. Look at, you still get a 4.5 star in there at the average level. This profile, man. A bit of a dead ball profile. 80 contact, 35 BABIP, 40 power, 65 eye, 70 stealing. Only downside is the glove. It's a 45. And that's at the average level. That's a steal at the average level. All right, shortstop, average age, bench level. Shortstop, bench, 8,000. Okay. Shortstop, average, scrub level. All right, let's generate this CSV and then we're ready to go. All right, let's copy these shortstop files into the Google Drive, and then we can switch back to the spreadsheet, which I know everyone's excited to see the spreadsheet again. This is riveting streaming content, by the way. I know the spreadsheets. Okay, let's import. This is, oh, hold on. I'm on the wrong. We want to start with legend. Import. Shortstop legend. Okay. We don't need the header because we're just appending these to the existing data file. So I'm just adding them on to the existing file here. You know what I was just thinking? I could just take this, I think, because the pattern should be the same. I can just copy this, and the formula should be the same. Uh-oh, it's frozen. Okay, there we go. And then if I paste this here, there we go. Now the formula is going to be broken in the beginning below here. Well, not broken, it's just blank. But there you go, the star. Okay, perfect. All right, that's good. That's going to work. All right, star level shortstops. So, looking at the chat, does that mean Late to Hate won the showdown with Foxhill? Now with this pasted, yeah, there we go. The overall truncated filled right in. Wow, you're 9-0. That's awesome. Okay, now good level. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Lining up perfectly. Next is average. Shortstops, average. Okay. Yeah, ready for the bench level players. All right. This is bench level. There we go. All right, and then scrub level. Shortstop scrubs. Insert. Replace current sheet and import. All right. Looks good. Copy these down, and we are good. Okay. So this first pivot, this was second base stars. So let's do shortstop stars. And again, normally I would just adjust that pivot table. We just filter by position, but I want to have them on separate worksheets so we can go back and forth. Hold on a second, I need to change something here. Sorry, I'm doing something off stream for a second. I'll be right back in there. Okay. All right, so we highlight the whole thing. We're going to insert pivot table. Is that enough rows? Oh yeah, we only did 2 positions tonight. We did 3 positions last night. Okay, so columns are, columns are the levels. Rows are overall rating truncated. This is where we need to filter now. Filter by position. And for this one, we want shortstop. Oh, this is interesting. There is a pretty big difference here. So for the shortstop stars, you see all but 4 are 5 stars at legend level. And there's quite a bunch more that are not 5 star at second base. $6,822 5 stars at the star level for shortstop. 4783 for second base. So there's a huge difference in star levels here. That for shortstop, that drops down to 1999 at good level, 5 stars. For second base, it's 873. Wow. Also, these groupings are pretty tight here. Like for the scrub, there's 5 levels. Oh, the shortstop is pretty tight too. But for bench, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so it's just a little more spread out and goes a little higher. The tail is a little longer and goes a little higher. But you can see an average, it's more pronounced. 79, 145, 551. Right, significantly lower numbers here. All right, so we're already seeing a difference at the star level. Let's look at power. Oh, let's look at contact first. Let's look at contact. So the columns again are the levels. For the rows, let's do contact now. We'll filter around position. And we'll look at just second baseman first. Oh, and this is contact count. Yeah, you can see everything seems a little bit capped at 65. Then you have some at 70, 928, 930, 356. Now you get more 75s at star level and more 80s, but you get more 85s and 90s at legend level. Surprisingly, you still get 253 85s and 772 80s at good level. But the bottom end of the scale is thicker, right? It has more count in it to kind of offset that. But for at least for contact, you can still get pretty good contact. Down at the star and good levels, even at the average level. Now the mode does start to shift. It goes from 65, 65, 60, 55. But then it stays at 55 for bench. So you can still find decent contact at the lower levels. So that's interesting. Now, this is second base contact. Now, I did say I'm being inefficient because really what you could do here is to switch to shortstop. You can just go to the filter, and we can just filter this for shortstop instead. But what we'll do is we'll kind of do a little bit of that. We're going to duplicate this. And this will be shortstop control. And instead of regenerating, what we'll just do is we'll just filter this for shortstop. So now this becomes a shortstop contact table. Looks very similar to second base. I'll go back and forth between. There's a little bit of a lower end here. The second baseman does have a couple at 30. So you're going to have to kind of ignore that. But the top ends and the bottom ends look pretty similar. Close enough that it's probably RNG differences here. Alright. Now let's do power. Now again, I'm doing a different pivot each time. If I were just doing this myself, I would just be pivoting. I would just be editing the pivot table over and over. But I want to be able to show these and bounce back and forth between them. So we'll just do it this way. So level of the columns again. The rows this time will be power. And that means the values will also be power, but count. And let's filter for second baseman. Okay, this is a bit of a repeat of what we saw last time, but this is way more spread out than the outfield one was. At the star level, you're already dipping down to 20 power. And then, strangely, it tightens back up a little bit. But look at the mode. The mode goes from 80. Wow, your power mode for Legend is 80. And then it goes to 70. Then it goes to 55. Then 50. Then 45. And then 30. So the mode's moving quite a bit. But man, it's 80 for Legend. That's... I mean, it's not unexpected because we do see a lot of power, but it's really surprising to see it laid out this way. And then we have another mode down here, or a bimodal distribution here. I think these are since they are Legend level, I think these are the high contact BABIP low power guys. And this is probably a mixture of like Power Eye and those Triple Crown candidate players we see. But this is really interesting. It's just one big smushed distribution. The super high contact speed build. Yeah, that could be some of these down here. That's right. Alright, so this is second baseman contact. Or second baseman power. Now, the really interesting will be, is shortstop power very different? So we just need to change the filter here. Yeah, not a big change in... this just looks like RNG differences. Excuse me. I wouldn't consider these materially different at all. That is interesting. So, like we saw with the outfielders, the bats were not different. All the difference was in fielding, but then at a suggestion from the chat, we did look at stealing, and the stealing was better in center field. So there may be some other attributes that we're not thinking of or not bothering to test tonight. There might be difference between shortstop and second base, but the pure contact, and power numbers don't look that different. All right, what's next? Let me go back to the questions here. There was power, there was contact, defensive ratings. Let's look at primary. Oh, so for the outfield, we had primary defensive rating. I need to create that here too. So for all the second basemen, who was, I think we did second baseman first, right? Yeah. It is the second baseman rating right here. And we're not going to autofill all the way. So we should go to 48,000. Okay, this is the last second baseman right here. We'll copy that down. Okay, so now from here, it's shortstop, so we're going to reference a different column. Now, if I wanted to make this really nice and repeatable, I would do an index match in Excel. First of all, I don't know how to do that in Google Sheets. And it's just two positions, so I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to do it manually. So we're just going to do a little bit of a brute force method here, but it should work. Okay, now we can do a pivot for primary defense. So again, our columns are level. The rows now are primary defense. The values are also primary defense. And we're going to filter by position again. We'll start with second base. Oops, these are sums. We want counts. Okay. Again, there seems to be an art, like a cap at 55 for the modes. We're not going any higher than that. The tail is allowed to extend a bit, but actually the mode is 50. But it looks like the median would be around 55-ish. It is shifting a little bit to the lower end on star, but then it does shift for sure at good. A partial shift here between 50 and 45 for average. Then it shifts finally for bench. And then it shifts for scrub. But these are not the huge drops that I think we were seeing in PT or OOTP25. Okay, so now let's do this for shortstop. Okay, here's shortstop defense. Here's second base defense. All right, we have more high-end defense at shortstop. Yeah, I think it looks like they're slightly higher, but not a ton higher. Not as much as I would have thought. shortstop also has a fatter tail on the low end, which I'm not expecting, that the second base does not have. So shortstop has a longer tail to the high end, but also has longer tails to the low end, which is interesting. All right, now let's look at the cross position. Now these are messy. I still haven't figured out how to make these look nice, but level is still the columns. The rows now are first base eligibility, it's so touchy. It's really annoying. Second base eligibility. Come on. So annoying. Wait, I'm just going to drag them in. This is so annoying. Third base eligibility. There you go. That works better. Shortstop eligibility. And then the values are first base count, second base count, third base count, and shortstop count. Okay. All right, so I think we figured out how to read these. So, oh, and then let's filter. We have to filter. This is for second baseman. Okay. So second baseman who can play all four positions, first, second, third, and short. Let's see. I think we turn off show totals. No, I think we want those totals back. Hold on. So within Legend, trying to figure out. We figured out for outfield, but there are only two other eligibilities. This has three other. Oh, wait a second. For second, let me label this. This is second base position. For second base, we can unselect, we can remove second base because that's a default. I'm trying to figure out what these subtotals are. I think what this is all right. First of all, I think at legend level, I think 100 or 504. 504 second baseman can only play second base. And I think okay, so this is a 0 here. So this is not doesn't play first base, doesn't play third base, and only plays shortstop. So second and shortstop only. So I think this number is this number is 0, 0. So second and short only. Oh, it's not going to let me type in there. Okay, so second base only, I believe, is 8,000 minus this number. Second base and shortstop is this number, 0, 0, 1. I think it's this 2929. Second, third, and short would be 1, 1, which is 4567. And then second base plus first base plus shortstop is 101, which is 211. And then second base, or all infield, is 293. I think that's what this means. This is for legend. And then for star, it would be oh, sorry, this is, wait. Did I not use formulas for these? That's a formula. Okay, this equals this. I think this equals that. This equals that. And this equals that. So now if I copy these, Yeah, sorry, I coughed earlier. I don't know how long I've been muted. When's the last time you heard me say anything? So anyway, in second base, it's been a few minutes. Okay, sorry about that. Second base is looking a lot like center field and the outfield positions did, where using this second base plus shortstop, which is the fewest number of positions besides second base only, the number here goes up the lower you go. So you get a lot more second and shortstop only as you go down levels. But oddly, this number goes up too. This number is second, first, and short. Second, first, and short increases as you go down as well. And then having all four goes down. It goes down a lot. It goes down to 1,700 compared to 4,567. But it didn't like when I tried to copy and edit second base to do shortstop, so we're going to create that one from scratch. So level, the rows will be first base eligibility. Oh, I'm going to have to drag them over because it's annoying. Second base, third base. First base, second base, third base. And then we're going to filter for just shortstops. Oh, gosh, so annoying. Okay, just shortstops. Okay, now I think we can use the same form here. Let's do shortstop position. I think we could do the same. So I think this is shortstop only. This is shortstop third base. This is shortstop second base, third base. This is first base, third base. I think this is low because it's a bit of an oddball because it doesn't include second base, which is like a natural pairing. And then 318 is all infield. Wait, where's shortstop second base? Where's shortstop a 1 here and a 0? Oh, that's... Where is shortstop second base only? Where's the 010? 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 1 1 1 1 0 1, but where's 0 1 0? Oh, this is 0 1 1. This is 0 1 0. No. Oh, so confusing. Where is 0 1 0? How many shortstop second base only are there in the shortstop section? So we have to start here. Okay, here's 1. How many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 21 rows in a screen. And there's 1. Here's another 21, and there's 1 more. Here's another 21, and there are 3 more. So 5 out of 60. Seven out of 84. So less than 10%, roughly. So what's a number here that looks like around 10% or less than 10%? Like what's around... Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is 1 0... Oh no. 1 0... Well, hold on. So confusing. Oh yeah, 0 0 1 0. 0 1 0. This is 0 0 1. I think 0 1 0 is this, 1375. Okay, so I did this wrong for the first shortstop. So shortstop only, I think, is still this difference. And then this is 0 0 1. So yeah, shortstop and third. And then 0 1 0 is 1357. Zero 1 0 is this. So then 0 1 1, which is shortstop, second base, third base, is actually this. Now what's the total? Let's do a check. No, I'm double counting this. So where's 0 0 0? Oh, 0 0 0 is 1333. Okay, wait. Okay, if this is 0 0 0, let me start from the beginning. If this is 0 0 0, and this is 001, and this is 010, and then this is 011, and then 100. So shortstop and first base only. Is shortstop plus first base 100 is this, and then shortstop plus third base only is actually this. That can't be right, can it? Shortstop first and third is this. Wait, this is also 100 though. Wait, so what's this? I don't know, I'm lost. I think this is shortstop only. 000. And then 001 is shortstop and third base only. And then shortstop and second base only would be 0 or 010. But then what's this? 011 is second and third. Yeah, shortstop plus second base. Man, this is getting complicated. Equals this. And then shortstop plus first base is 89, this one. Shortstop plus first base, third base is 82. And then all infield is this. I don't know what this 110 is though. But these add up to 8,000. I just don't know what this 110 is. Oh, this would be shortstop first and second with no third? Oh, yes, because all infield is this. Sorry. All infield equals this. And shortstop first and second. Oops. Shortstop first and second base. Is this. Yeah, I don't know why these are italicized. Let me undo that. Okay, so now if I take these and copy these, So I should probably copy these over here too. The definitions will be different, but so these definitions for second base are 1459 is 000, so second base only. 1470 is 001, so second base and shortstop only. That's right. This is 010, so this is shortstop or second base and third base only. Then 32 is second base, third base, shortstop. Then 106 is second base, first base only. This 105 is second base, first base, shortstop. The 83 is second base, first base. Wait. Second base, first base. The 106 is second base, first base. The 105 is second base, first base, shortstop. Okay, I had that. I somehow lost that. Okay, now the 83 is second base, first base. Wait. First base, third base. Without the shortstop. And then the 210 is all infield. Okay. So what changes over time the most? Second base only increases as you go down. And then this shrinks the most. Second base, third base, shortstop shrinks the most as you go down. And then for shortstops, this goes down. Second base, shortstop, third base goes down. Shortstop, second base stays this. Oh, actually goes up a bit. These two go up the most as you go down. Shortstop only and shortstop plus third base. All infield. Yeah, it's weird. These weird combinations either stay the same or go up. But the most useful combination, which is why shortstop, second, and third, does go down. But it doesn't go down until scrub level. At the bench level, you still have 3687, which is actually more than legend level. That's interesting. Okay. In any case, I think we have enough information now to do the pack giveaway. So let me see if we can do that. I'm going to resize some columns and then I'll share it on the screen. Okay, here are the survivor style questions. Which of the legend level middle infielders will have the most players with contact of 80 or greater? So let's go back to the contact views. Second base has 477. Shortstop has 509. So shortstop has more. Highest contact. So Reb Jr., Clay Dog. Oh, I said I would ignore your first one. So I'm going to ignore that. So Clay Dog, Reb Jr., and Late to Hate advance. Which of the legend level middle fielders have the most players with contact of 45 or lower? Oh, sorry. I was doing this. So these three have survived the first question. Now, which will have contact of 45 or lower? Well, it's just 94 for second base. And 87. So second base has more 45 or lower. So Late to Hate and Clay Dog advance. Sorry, Rev Jr. Well, we're going to have the tie broken here. Which of the middle infielders will have the most players with power of 80 or greater? All right, here's second baseman power. $48.99. Let's just copy this formula. $48.42. So by a very tiny margin, second base, Clay Dog. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give out another 3 packs, another second place prize for whoever comes closest on the numerical tiebreaker. So everyone's going to be back in it when we get there. Because I think I just did too many of these. So we're gonna do the tiebreaker for the numericals. Well, whoever didn't already win. So Clay Dog and Late Date, you have 1 pack. Of the others, we're gonna see who gets the other 3 packs, and I will ask Nicolino for forgiveness. All right, let's finish this off. Power of 45 or lower. Second base power 45 or lower. $254. Actually, to make this work, I should make it and then we'll copy that. $280. So shortstop has more low power. So Clay Dog would have gotten that one too. And then defensive ratings of 70 or higher. So for second baseman, it's 150. then for shortstops, $359. So it's way higher for shortstops. You both got that one right. And then 5-star ratings. Which has more 5-star ratings? $78.56 for second base. $79.96 for shortstop. Shortstop legends are almost all 5-star. And you both got that right. Okay, so now let's just forget all that. And let's do these numerical ones. Okay. Highest shortstop defense. Sorry. I'm having a hard time switching back and forth. All right, so we're through with all the multiple choice or yes or no questions. Clay Dogs won 7 packs. Latates won 3 packs. I'm gonna give another 3 packs to whoever else finishes with the best guesses out here, the most closest guesses. So the first question is highest shortstop defense rating. So shortstop defense. Okay, the highest rating was a 95. There were 4 95s at shortstop. So Smiley Face Jane. Wow, is the only one who got that. Okay, next is the highest second base defensive rating. 85 is the highest. 85 is the highest at second base. No one guessed that, so the 2 closest are Clay Dog with 90 and Kayaking Santa with 90. Okay, next up is the lowest defensive rating for a legend level shortstop. A 35, and there were 5 of those. Rev Jr. is the only one to get that one right. Oh, Clay Dog already won, so I'm not doing his. So let's undo his. Okay. Lowest second base rating for defense. A 35. 35. So Kato Ring, Smiley Face Jane, Kato Ring both got that right. Smiley Face Jane now has 2. And I am giving away an extra set of 3 packs here for this. What percentage of legend level shortstop will have a defense rating for second base? So that's basically anyone who is... So it's this plus this plus this plus this. This plus this plus this plus this divided by 8,000. 64% can also play second base. Rev Jr. and Kayaking Santa with the meme guess of 69. Get that right. Okay. What percentage of legend level second base will have a rating for shortstop? Oh, sorry. That was Kaiki Santa, Reb Jr. with the meme guesses here. Sorry, let me show you that. Always the meme guess for maximum accuracy. Okay, so now it's uh, second baseman who can play shortstop. That would be this one, this one, this one, and this one. Oops. Equals sum. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Divided by 8,000. 63.2%. Reb Jr. I think closest there. So Reb Jr. has pulled ahead of Kayaking Sand and Smiley Face Jane. Not that different. The percentage of second baseman who can play shortstop is 63.2%. The percentage of shortstops who can play second base is 64%. Not that different. Okay. What percentage of legend level shortstop will have a rating for third base? So shortstops with a rating for third base. That would be this one, this one, this one, and this one. %64 can play third base. Kato Ring with 60% is closest there. And again, they add up to over 100% because there's overlap. There's categories where they're both in there. Okay, the next question is second baseman who can play third base. Second baseman who can play third base. That's this one plus this one plus this one plus this one. 60.8%. Ooh, Kato Ring right there with the 60%. Alright, so as it stands, Kato Ring has 3. Reb Jr. has 3. Smiley Face Jane and Kai Kasanda each have 2. What percentage of scrub level shortstop will have a star rating of 2 or lower? Scrub level shortstop rating of 2 or lower. It's almost all of them. So scrub level shortstops rating of 2 or lower. Did I ask percentage? Is that the question? Hold on, let me check the question again. Yeah, what percentage? So it's that divided by 8,000. 99% of scrub level shortstop have a rating of 2 or lower. So Smiley Face Jane got that right. 96%. Okay, so now Smiley Face Jane, Kato Ring, and Reb Jr. all have 3. Now if Kayaking Santa gets this right alone, we will have a 4-way tie at the end. You would each get less than a pack. Okay, what is the last question? The last question is, what percentage of scrub level second baseman will have a star rate? Oh, sorry. This is where we are now. So Smiley Face Jane has 3. Kato Ring has 3. Reb Jr. has 3. Kayaking Santa has 2. The big spoiler would be if Kayaking Santa gets this right with a meme guess, it would be a 4-way tie. All right, and the question is, what percentage of scrub level second basemen have a star rating of 2 or lower? Second baseman stars 2 or lower. Okay, it's almost 90. It's over 99%. 99.5%. Spy Face Jane charging back at the end, getting those last 2 questions right. Snatches victory from the jaws of Kato Ring and Reb Jr. So first place to Clay Dog, second place to Late to Hate, and an additional second place prize. Shocks nobody. You know, next time what we should do, though, is instead of awarding first and second place in that early section, is just first place. And then second place will always be determined by this whatever we're going to call this gauntlet of questions here at the end. I think that'll make it more fun. I mean, it's fine for tonight, and Late to Hate and Clay Dog had good guesses, but I think let's just identify the first place winner, and then everyone else will be in the running when we hit the numerical section. We'll bring everyone else back. I think that's how... I'll have to figure out how to explain that in the pack giveaway form, but I think that'll make it more fun. And it'll keep me from having to ask Nicolino for forgiveness. Okay, so what did we learn tonight? So I think with the pitching, we learned a ton of very clear facts. And with the outfielders also, we learned a bunch of things that I think were pretty clear. I don't know that the learnings today were as clear between second base and shortstop. I think one thing that stood out to me is they're not that different than I thought they would be. The bats are almost identical as the outfield bats were. If you're looking at power and contact. The defenses, you get a little more high-end defense out of the shortstops, but you also get a little more low-end defense out of the shortstops. So it feels like a bit of a push. And then as far as position flexibility, one of the interesting things is that the position flexibility decreases as you go to lower levels, which is tough because we're all getting our backups at the lower levels. That means our backups will have less flexibility. Yeah, I don't know. I think this felt like the least informative or least eye-opening of the 3 sessions so far. I think starting pitchers really taught me a lot about what's going on. I think the outfield did as well. Given that the bats are so similar, especially in the outfield, I do think I'm going to add a rule in Creator. The Creator roster had no rules before. Because I didn't think there's like no really way to game the system like there is in low ball. You're just trying to build the best roster possible. But now that we know that the the outfield bats are basically identical except for stealing. It's just they have different fielding abilities. To prevent everyone from taking center fielders, just all center fielders, I feel like I have to force you have to take at least one left fielder or one right fielder, or maybe you have to take at least 3 corner outfielders or something. I'll have to figure that out. Because I just think it's less interesting if everyone just takes all center fielders, then all the outfielders can play all the positions, and then it's just like, okay, then your best three bats can just always start. I don't know. Let me think about that. I did like that Creator Roster had like no rules. I don't want to start like over legislating. I mean, it's unavoidable for low ball. Oh, and low ball is a whole nother ball of wax for this cycle because, I mean, you can see it here in the star ratings. Let me pull the star ratings up. We just don't have. For the pitchers, we had no 1 stars and half stars. At the position players, we finally started seeing some. But even at the scrub level, it's less than 10%. And so you might go your whole round without seeing any 1 star or lower position players. I mean, you'll probably see 1 or 2 across 4 batches, but you'll never have to choose one. And if you're playing low ball, you're going to have very few opportunities to take 1 stars or half stars. Right, that's for shortstop. That's for second base. So low ball is going to be very different from last cycle, I think. Yeah, Reb Jr., take at least 1 from every position, and then the rest you can do however you want. That's kind of how the rule works for low ball, too. Except for low ball, I make you take 2 catchers, 2 shortstops, and 2 center fielders. But yeah, minimum of 1 per position. I think that's right. That sounds right. I think that's a simple enough of rule. So I actually, regular Colorado Roster does have 1 rule. You have to take 5 starting pitchers and only 5 starting pitchers. So I'm okay adding 1 more rule, which is you have to have at least 1 of each position have to be represented in your choices. Now you can put your left fielders and right fielders on the bench and take them at the late rounds, but then also you're not going to get the flexibility. So you may not have enough backups. That'll be interesting to see. Okay. Anyway, I think these are interesting. For those of you who think they're boring, just bear with me. There's 1 or 2 more to go. We'll do corner infielders, and I'm actually going to add those on to this infield data sheet in case we want to do cuts across all 4 infield positions. I would like them all in the same data pool. And then catchers, it seems weird to just have 1 stream about catchers. But they're kind of their own animal, too. All right, let's do this. We'll do corner infielders tomorrow. Thursday is pack ripping. Friday afternoon, I have an idea for the afternoon stream. But Friday night, I'm usually tired on Friday night because I've done the afternoon stream and then I'm streaming again. Friday night will be catchers. And then Saturday will be the official test of Creator Roster. And we will start taking channel point redemptions for that to play Creator Roster. So let's do that. As of Friday night, after Friday night stream, all the testing should be done. And then I'll do my official test run on Saturday. And then Creator Roster will be fair game. Now, low ball, I think, is going to take some testing to figure out how. I think these players might be too good for low ball. So we're going to have to figure out some way to make it worse. And I think the natural thing to do is like give more scrub choices. But I just want to do that in a way that still keeps it fun, and not every team, wins 20 games, but make it so that you still have to like have a good strategy and still get a little lucky and still, have make good decisions to still get to like below 40 wins. So that might take a little bit of testing for low ball. What I'm hopeful for, though, is seeing all these different shapes, right? These profile shapes. Is I think dead ball might be better in OTP26 because we're seeing more shapes that just aren't, modern power eye or contact power guys. So I think we might have a chance at a better dead ball game this cycle. Okay, so with that, let's figure out where we're going to raid into. Looks like Baffle is still streaming, so let me peek in there. Oh, looks like Baffle's wrapping up. You know what? Let's raid him anyway. We haven't raided into him in a little bit, so let's just raid into Baffle. And then I'll let him take you where he will. He's a great variety streamer, mostly sports games, also very active in the OTP community. Just a great guy, fun streamer. And if he doesn't stay on much longer, he'll at least take us somewhere fun. So.